Good afternoon, everyone. I am Bulwat Fiolontola, a junior digital marketing executive here at Futuresoft, and you are welcome to Launch and Learn. Launch and Learn is a bi-weekly program here at Futuresoft where each staff get to train people on topics relating to our industry. And if today is your very first time of joining us, you are much welcome. So today I have Peter Faruna, our digital marketing executive, and he'll be facilitating the session on the topic understanding conversational marketing for your business. Kindly mute your mic as we continue with the session, and if you have questions that you might want to ask as the session goes on, you can drop them in the chat and Peter would address those questions after the session. Thank you very much for your cooperation, and over to you, Peter.
So the topic for today is understanding conversational marketing for your business. And we'll be talking about the different points of where and how you should handle this for your brand. So I would like to start off with the outline, which is what is conversational marketing, the components of conversational marketing, the types of conversational marketing, types of conversational channels, and how to create conversational marketing strategy. I'll start off with a quote that says, the goal of the marketing interaction isn't to close the sale any more than the goal of a first date is to get married. No, the opportunity is to move forward, to earn attention and trust and curiosity and conversation. This is from a marketing expert called Seth Godin. And this goes to say that in as much as the end goal is to actually probably make sales or sell your services, the idea behind consumer marketing is to create a relationship between yourself and your customer. So let's head on to what is conversational marketing. So what is conversational marketing? So conversational marketing is a feedback-oriented approach to marketing used by businesses to generate engagement, establish client loyalty, expand their customer base, and eventually increase revenue. Just like I just said earlier on. So it is to create a relationship and to use the customer journey to understand what it is that they want and give them answers and give them responses as the way they want it, like exact way they want it. And that is like building before you can actually get that, you need to build a sort of trust. So the trust has to come in place before this can come in place. So conversational marketing is like it has always been in the business, but now it's actually getting more pronounced, and it's everywhere. And it's like a leading approach to digital marketing right now, because people want to know what the brand is, who the brand is, what is behind the brand. Are they humans behind this brand? So it's very important to actually understand your customer journey so that you can actually relate to them better. So it is built on the concept of listening to your customers and potential customer needs, incorporating input into your marketing strategy, and communicating with customers one-on-one. So giving them the idea that they are very important to you. So it's just almost like, for example, when you send out an email marketing mail, an email message to your potential clients, you get the point of where you pick up these people's names, like you pick up so person's name and send them a message. That way they feel like you're speaking to them directly, not knowing that, okay, this is actually sent out to a particular database of people, but because you have that already, you make them feel like you're speaking to them one-on-one. So in general, when considering conversational marketing approach, keep the following 2 points in mind. The conversation is a two-way street. So it comes with them contacting you or you contacting them and them giving you responses. And that way you can actually blossom and blossom into conversations that lead to your sales. So conversation happens to allow relationship between parties grow. Like I've said earlier, I've explained that earlier. And that's basically what conversational marketing is. So we'll actually be speaking more on that. So why conversational marketing? So the customer base is evolving, and as such, they want more from the services and products. Like I said earlier, everybody wants they want a particular response, and they want a story on or an assurance that what we are actually getting from these people is actually legit. Whatever services they are rendering or the products they are selling should be actually legit to them. So this means that the customer now has more choice. Sorry about it. This means that the consumer now has more choice, and also that many products and services appear extremely similar, meaning buying experience now has a huge role in the purchase decision. So this is to say that you services you're offering might not be something new, or the products you're selling might not be something new, but then the way you relate to your customers depends. How you market your product actually depends. So it actually goes a long way to actually have a good conversation, sorry, what's the word? An exceptional conversation that speaks about your product or puts your product on a very high rank than the others. And this gives them assurance that yes, what you're actually giving to them is legit. So conversational marketing is a response to this demand for better experience in the digital age, because everything now is probably online. People go online to get things and the likes of that. So it's actually an evolving market, and conversational marketing is very important for every brand. So you should actually take note. So these statistics I have here from Accenture says 87% of companies no longer rely on traditional buying experience to satisfy their customers. So they go the extra mile to incorporate conversational marketing. So the traditional buying experience, you just go find something online, you buy and all that. People now have the freedom to actually see ratings. Come online, you see your ratings, you search for a business on Google search or Binge, and you can actually see customer ratings and all that and see the story. Then if you see probably a good rating or a moderate rating, and you still like what it is that they sell and you want to get to know more about it, then you can contact, and then this conversation happens. So that's why conversational marketing, and it's very important. So the reason for the renewed interest in conversational marketing is that due to the advances in technology and shifts in consumer behavior, conversational marketing now happens at scale. You can have direct one-to-one customer conversations with individual customers on their timeline, not ours. And that is to say that if you have clients, and they reach out to you at any time, you should have a team that is always there to actually respond to the needs of these potential clients. And that is like why this it's very important that conversational marketing is very important. You have to have a team that will handle this, and it can be via chatbots and the traditional way of replying messages one-on-one. So we'll get to that actually. So the next is components of conversational marketing. So the components are, first one is timing. So this is very important. It's actually very, very important, because when a customer reaches out to you and they want to get an information from you and they send you a message, probably through your, okay, let's get, for example, your social media platform, and they send you a message, and then you take almost 24 hours to respond to them. That gap that you put in between yourself and the customer can make the customer visit other platforms, try to compare prices and see what is what. The important thing about timing is if you're right on time, you're right there. It tells them that you are serious. It tells them that this is the kind of brand I want to work with. So if you want your conversation to be useful for marketing and sales, you need to be able to start, continue, and end them when it's convenient for your lead and customer. So you're working on your timeline. You're not working on your timeline. You have to be there to respond to them. And that's why there's introduction of chatbots and the likes of them. We'll still get to that, like I said. So in other words, Being able to reply and take action instantly in real time is as important as allowing your customers to finish the conversation at their own pace, whether it takes a few minutes or hours. So you have to be patient. You're actually the one. So like they said, the customer is always right. So you have to actually be patient with your potential customers and deal their timeline on how they deliver, on how they send your message. So you can look out and even follow up if necessary. So to maintain good timing, you need to have these two on standby. So real-time conversations and a dedicated team for engagements. So your business can have 2, 3, 4, 5 people on the team, or you can even have everybody that's not even on the marketing team logged on to your platform, the digital channel, so that everybody can actually have hands-on to respond to these things. So the next one is location. So location is platforms where you use for this your conversational marketing tools. So you have to look for which one is more friendly for your business. So is it via email marketing? Is it via social media? Is it via website? Is it via your branded apps? Which is the easiest place for people to relate with your brand? So though conversational marketing is still marketing with a new point of view, its components are not necessarily new. So actually it's not necessarily new. It's just the fact that the term conversation is not new, but then now it's evolving. So marketing best practices advise you to reduce the number of steps between you and your customer. So that's basically to say, do not make it stressful for your customers to reach you. So I would not create a process where before I can, okay, for example, let me just give you a quick example. For example, when you call MTN, like MTN call center, and you want to reach out to their agents, they give you an option of probably self-service, and then they give you an option to talk to an agent. It's actually an easy step. For some reason, some other networks have other ways that they reach their customers, and then discourages people to actually reach out to them. So that's basically an example of using the number of steps to reach you and your customer. And it can even still be probably you have a brand, and your brand is on social media, and probably maybe you know that people are not really comfortable with sending DMs. You can actually just put a direct WhatsApp number and they reach out to you. That's reducing steps. So the same may be said in the case of conversations. The simpler it is for the customer to reach out or get back to you, the higher chances of success. So that is it still depends on you, because you have to take the fall for. Sorry, I won't call it the fall. You have to be in a position to always be at you have to be available for the customer at every point, and you have to make it easier for them to understand what it is you're saying. Do not confuse them. So conversations that are supposed to drive your marketing and sales should take place on the medium that your target demographic prefers. So that's basically what the location is. Do they prefer social media more? Do they prefer email marketing more? Do they prefer to message on branded apps? Do they prefer your website more, to go visit your website and drop a message and all that? So it depends on what from what you have from your research, and you see that, okay, this is where my consumers and customers come from the most. Let us focus here and see how we can reach out to these people more. That doesn't mean that you should write off other channels. It just means that since this is the place that people are contacting you more, Instagram is the place that people are contacting you more. So focus there more and give them what they want. So the context. So it's still the same thing I just said about having good context and not confusing them. So the goal of conversational content is to collect, store, and access lead customer data such as name, email, previous orders, compliance, and so on. So the more data you are able to retrieve and use in real-time conversations, the better the service you provide. So for every conversation you have with your client, you should have your possible questions that are going to come up next time, and you should have your possible responses. And from this, you also have You can also have create your lead, like you have I can pick up them because customer can reach out to me and I pick out their name and put them in my database so that when next I'm sending out an email, send out the message, make them know that yes, you are important to us. Let me just give a quick example for that. So you have like a hotel, and you visit the hotel, and they take your name, your phone number, and the likes of that. Then they send you out. So after a while, they can send you a message, visit us again, and all that. But then you have an opportunity to actually call again. Maybe you like the services and you want to reach out to them, and you reach out to them. Hi, I want to use the services, and you call your name. Hi, Mr. So, hi, Miss. And you have that feeling of, oh, I'm important to these people, and that's why I am here, and that's why they have to know my name and all that. So that it gives them a feeling of, yes, we are part of these people, and people actually appreciated the fact that they actually use their services. So it actually matters. And in the long run, it helps you to collect, you store data, you have access to customer leads, you can reach out to them. You know the kind of people that are actually coming to you, and you can use that later on. So consumers expect answers as soon as possible and with as little effort as possible on their side. So that is to say, you have to do the work for them. You have to, it's more like you're spoon feeding them. So you have to reach out to them, follow up. Sometimes customers might actually be interested in something, but for some reason they're not following up the way they are supposed to. You can actually just reach out to them in a way that is not you disturbing. Because in a way, you can actually reach out to customers in a way that you can be you stalking them, and so people might get discouraged and just probably even block the way you contact them and all that. So it's very reasonable. It's reasonable for you to actually be very courteous with the way you reach out to them. So to be able to do so, you must always place your brand customer communication in a very detailed context. So that's exactly what I just said. Put their needs on, try to understand where they are coming from, and the likes of that. So without it, there's no continuity, no personalization, no convenience. So personalization is very important, and that's where you having their contact details, you knowing their names and all that, knowing their previous orders, asking them how their previous orders went, hope they enjoyed it, and likes of that. So that's basically what this is. So scalability. This is very important. It's a very important component of conversational marketing, as no conversational advertising nor marketing strategy can possibly succeed without the capacity to scale. So I started a business today, and I have five hands on deck, and then I have clients that I have to respond to. Over time, we're responding to about 50 clients, and over time now my clients are up to 200. Possibility of my the workload for my team to handle the same quantity of 50 that they handle when it's 200 is actually going to be very challenging. So this requires more hands on deck. So consumers aren't actually bothered if you have 500 or 5,000 messages to respond to. So the customer experience, the only customer experience they care about is theirs. So they only care about how soon you respond to me. So I will not come and contact a bank, for example, and send them an email and tell them they debited me for no reason and I want my money to be refunded. And they're taking 2 weeks to reply to me, probably maybe because they don't have much hands on deck. It's not my concern if they don't have much hands on deck. And this is me looking at it from the perspective of the usual customer. You want your problem to be solved. And that's why in some cases you get that it take 5 days to respond, or it take 5 days to work on this. It can be a process of them sending it out to probably the team that's handling, the technical team that's handling that particular case at the moment, and that requires them to, it actually takes a process. And that's why sometimes some of these companies actually give their customer support from some certain trainings that we can handle hands on deck even before it gets to like a very technical stage, so that you can handle it immediately. Like, just like when you call, for instance, you call MTN and you have a problem, they can actually run a check. Now, the people that run those checks for you as customer support, but then they have some certain trainings that they can actually handle your problems at that point. So it's actually very important to scale, but not every company can handle this, and that is businesses especially. So this goes to my last paragraph here that says businesses, especially small businesses, small medium enterprises, shouldn't get left behind due to the lack of resources or manpower. And this is where bots come in. So chatbots and affordable no-code technologies to build them level the field by allowing businesses to automate without sacrificing humanity, right? So this is to say that in case where you cannot afford, where your business is actually on a scale of which we cannot afford people on deck, we can actually introduce chatbots because they are somewhat cheaper. That's depending on, there are no code technologies like the ones that require no codes. You can actually introduce them and it will help you actually respond to clients firsthand, but not give them the total solution, more like give them the quick responses on what their problem is. By the end of the day, in as much as we're not sacrificing humanity, it's also important not to forget that it's actually very important that somebody needs to be there to follow up, because it's not everything that your chatbots can actually interact with. So the chatbot is just basically for quick info. So yeah, those are the components of conversational marketing. So now we'll go to types of conversational marketing. So this is not new. So live chat is not new. Live chat has always been like available for like forever, but in the earlier phases, I don't think there was chatbots introduced into live chat until later on. So live chat is the easiest and most straightforward form of conversational marketing to grasp. Its power comes from a combination of immediacy, personal touch, and human agent attention. So I come to probably I go to your social media channels, probably Instagram, Facebook, I drop a message. Probably there might be a quick response that's there, that's already programmed to be, but then doesn't stop them from getting the attention that, oh, somebody has sent us a message and we can respond to these people. So live chats is the like one of the first way of conversational marketing aside messaging. So it's an excellent technique to provide pre and post-purchase advice as well as close deals online. However, it is labor intensive and sometimes expensive for companies. So like I said, it depends on your company. It depends on the company that is handling this live chat. So I wouldn't think that, for example, and Amazon will have issues with human agents being online, because Amazon is actually very big, like one of the biggest platforms to sell, or even let's never go too far, even in Jumia, they have hands on deck. They're everywhere and can actually get anything on Jumia. So it's actually a very big market, and they have people on deck, so it's not a problem for those kind of brands. But then when you have a small company which you do not have this manpower, probably you have less than 500 staffs, and then you have things that are actually selling, or even you probably can even have less than 50 staffs, then you have to probably introduce chatbots into your live chat. It's possible too. So this statistics we have here says 79% of consumers prefer live chat over other options like calling or email for its instant resolutions and ability to multitask during the conversation. Yeah, so this goes to say some people don't like calling. Most people don't like calling. They don't like the stress of probably holding up on their phone. When you're chatting, you can actually multitask and do other things, and that makes live chat like one of the easiest ways that people actually communicate. So the next we have chatbots. So chatbots are technological evolution of live chat. Like I said, so it's still part of live chat. Despite the automation, they replicate the individualized conversational environment of live chat, allowing organizations to scale without losing the human touch. Like I said earlier, you understand your customer journey. You have gotten certain questions before, and you know the possible questions that might come up, and then you want to use that and put it in your chatbot. So there are two types of chatbots. So the rule-based chatbots, dialogue schemes similar to the decision tree conversation, prompted by choices directly or through logic jobs. So I'm going to use MTN again as an example. I call MTN customer care, and you have that rule-based. The first one is the one that says, do you want to hit this number for self-service, hit this number for recharge, hit this number for this and that. So that is the rule-based. And we might actually still need the help of someone to actually help you program this. And that's the rule-based. And the AI bots. So typically for loose dialogue structure. So this goes out to, this type has like branches, like a lot of branches. Still, some of this companies still use it. AI bots use natural language processing and machine learning to analyze the intent behind natural user inputs and respond accordingly. They give more control to the user, good for conversational instances of greater complexity. So you have, it can pick your keywords. So now we are dealing with keywords. It can actually pick your keywords on what it is that you are actually saying. Your words might be complex to read, might not be usual, but then it might pick and read. So this actually requires programming, like you said, machine learning and all that. So it will pick the possible words that is relatable to another word or synonym for something else, and then it gives you responses. So it's actually more technical and actually definitely more expensive. So voice assistants. Voice assistants are also intelligent chatbots that rely on the spoken word instead of visual interface. So we have like the likes of we have Siri for Apple, we have Alexa for Google, we have Cortana, and there are so many other ones that use voice assistants for this. And this requires you to speak into probably your device. If you have a phone, you speak into it. If you have it, you speak into it, and it gives you the closest possible response to what you just said. All right, and we have that on our Android phones, on the Android device, on the iOS, that which is Apple, the Siri. So and all that. So that's what voice assistants is. So voice assistants, without doubt, have a bright future ahead of them, because people are getting, I don't want to use the word lazier. People are getting more comfortable and more relaxed, and they want things to. I want to be. It's so much that people don't actually buy. There are some people that actually do not buy anything physically anymore. They just order it online and all that. So this, on the long run, is going to be like very favorable for the market, for your business. So due to the high cost, only companies and brands with significant resources have access to this exclusive part of conversational marketing. While the quality of these assistant conversations is increasing with each passing year, there is still a lot of space for growth. So the AI technology can still get better, still part of the AI technology, and try to make the computer machine understand what people are saying more, because sometimes now you can actually, okay, for example, most voice assistants that we know are English. We don't have voice assistants in our own, we don't really have voice assistants in our own mother tongue, aside like platforms like our telecoms companies that actually use a lot of like Igbo, Hausa, and Yoruba and the likes of that. So there's still a lot of space for growth. There's still chances of things blossoming to becoming a bigger platform for people to use. So email. So email is conventional email marketing focuses on building relationships and strives to make the communication more human through the use of conversational language or by linking the email to a bot or live chat. So making the communication more human is basically speaking about what I said earlier, picking out customers' database and making them feel like this email is meant for them only and them only, and giving them the fact, making them feel that they're unique and they're special. And this would actually encourage them to actually relate with your business better. So you can actually have like links to a live chat on in your email marketing. Like you send out an email. So if you want more information, please click this button to speak to our agent. Even in your email, it's possible. That is possible. And that's that. So conversational marketing is the fastest way to move buyers through your marketing and sales funnel through the power of real-time conversation. It builds relationships and creates authentic and personalized experiences with customers and buyers. Like I just explained, having a database and making them feel like they're the only ones you're speaking to. So the next, we'll go to social media. So the conversational aspect surfaces when you create space for interaction and let your followers know that you are listening. So some conversational marketing approaches via social media platforms include private messaging. You sending out DMs or them sending you DMs and you responding. Social commenting. This is you probably creating content that they can actually relate to and communicate with, so that so that they'll feel involved in whatever it is you're doing. Polls. This like applies for Facebook, applies for even applies for Twitter, it applies for Instagram, it applies for LinkedIn. I think it applies for LinkedIn now. Yes, it does. And live streaming, we have live streaming too via most of these platforms. You have that on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter in a different way, which is the Twitter Spaces and all that. So there's a lot of way. Social media is actually very wide. Even YouTube has a live streaming where you can come up there, comment, drop a message while a live stream is going on YouTube. That's interesting. So things are evolving. They're creating, all these platforms are creating spaces for conversation. They want people to be involved. They want people to feel, yes, we are part of this brand. So that's the importance of social media, which is actually very key. So now we'll go to types of conversational marketing, right? So website and landing pages. So the main advantage of this channel is having complete control. Hosting a chatbot or a live chat on your website gives you freedom in terms of design and format, as well as protects you from the third-party platforms. So your website, you create your website, it's your website, and you create a live chat. It gives you, this is not like, you actually have to go through a third party that you actually have to pay before the message can get to you. You can actually host the website, the live chat on your website without help from other platforms, right? So you get direct messages directly. Maybe it comes to your email. Once they drop a message in your live chat or the chat or they talk with your, or they drop a message to your chatbot. Sorry about that. It goes directly to your email, and then you can actually relate to them. So your bot can be in the form of a widget or a pop-up. So some website when you open, the first thing that comes up is, "Hi, we are online." And sometimes you can actually visit those same websites. Some of them might tell you they're offline because probably they don't have the manpower to have people that will be online at night and all that. But then, in most cases, you come up and say, "How can we help you today?" You drop a message, and that alone sends a message to the people. And sometimes it can be a form, like it says. So you fill out the form, set out your challenges, and this way it helps you create a database. Like I said earlier, it helps you create a database where you can store your potential clients. You can store their data and reach out to them later on, and then converse with them and speak on what it is that they want. So the next is instant messaging apps. So we have a lot of instant messaging apps, and I think the number one is still WhatsApp, based on the quantity of people on it. Like at least more than 50% of people in the world are on WhatsApp now. So most businesses take advantage of direct messaging apps, as there are several advantages of instant messaging apps. So quickly, we're going to run through the advantages. So users are familiar with them, and they already form part of their daily habits. Hence, they minimize the steps customer has to take to get in touch with your business. I'm a user, for example, I'm a customer and I use Instagram every day. I can't do without a lot of people are addicted to, some of these platforms, or let me not say addicted, they are fond of it and they cannot do without it. Probably that's where they go to for laughs. That's where they go to look for potential businesses that they can actually get things from. And that's like the most comfortable place for them to actually communicate, instead of doing the stress of sending an email or going to a website. So they just go to your email, send into your channel on your page on that platform, and send out the message, hi, I want to get so thing, and from there you interact with you. It's like a very fast way to communicate with you, and that's why it's always advisable for you to be always, once it's during your business period, your business hours, it's very important for you to always be there, even when it's not your business period. You can actually always be there, so that you would actually miss out on messages. So they are popular. They are largely popular, giving you potential access to a huge active user base. We have WhatsApp Business. You can, and the fun thing about this platform is you can actually, right now, we've had the liberty to actually put links of other platforms in other platforms, so as to make to interswitch communication. So throughout the entire conversation, customers can reply whenever it's convenient to them without losing the context of conversation, enabling an asynchronous relationship based on customer preference. So this is actually very important too, because unlike when I'm going to see an advantage of instant messaging apps over probably live bots or live chat. So for example, I start a conversation on the live chat and I drop a message and I don't get a response. And after a while, after like 1 hour, I come back to it and probably maybe I close up the page and then I come back to the live chat. Some businesses don't have the capacity to host such messages for long, so it might wipe off for a while. So they can come back there and you wouldn't see where the messaging stopped. But for instant messaging apps, if it's WhatsApp, if it's Instagram, if it's Twitter, if it's Facebook, you see where you stopped your messaging, and you can actually even mention and go back and say, "This is what I said earlier. You have not made any you have not done anything about this complaint that I made," and that is like the advantage of instant messaging apps. So it's actually advisable to actually use instant messaging apps as well. So branding apps. So this is for companies that have apps. Conversational marketing inside your own branding app is a more focused approach. Is a more focused approach that helps strengthen loyalty and a sense of community, and invokes the idea of special treatment / service for those who are part of that community. So I have an app that I use, probably a bank app that I use, and they have an option for me to chat or drop a message in, or send a message directly from that app, even send an email from that app, or send a message from that app on that app. Or I have access to, it gives me access to other platforms via that app. So it's actually very nice, but not all companies have apps right now. So depending on what it is that your brand does, this is actually advisable to, if your brand offers services, probably like a fintech company and the likes of that. So bot or live chat function, or a combination of the two in your own app, enables you to provide personalized service to your most loyal audience. So like I just said, it can be live chat, it can be chatbots that probably maybe stores the database or sends out a message to people and say, okay, attend to this person and all that. So it's you can actually work with this. So the next is email and social media. When it comes to email, the content itself can be a conversation starter. So this is to say, I send out a message, an email, and the message I send out creates a platform, or creates question, and encourages people to actually ask more questions because they want to know about it. It's that interesting. I want to know what this is about. So, however, the most sophisticated way to go with conversational email marketing is by connecting with your email, connecting your emails with the bot. So instead of the CTA taking your customers to a landing page, imagine it taking them to a conversation with a bot that already knows, with a bot that already knows their name, purchase history, and etc. Right? So because you already have the database, so you actually also use that with the bot. So it's a crossover technology where you also put their database for email on the chatbot. So even if you go to the chatbot, they see that you are treated specially. This is my name. This is my name here. Everything that I need to see about myself is already there. And me that they know that I'm actually communicating. It makes me feel like, yes, I'm special to these people, right? As a consumer, looking at it from a perspective of a customer, sorry. So your social media channels also have great potential to drive conversational strategy through debates in the comment section or with the help of bot assistants, right? So you have the potential to create help through your bot assistants, even on social media channels. A lot of social media channels now provide quick questions or quick responses. Like I said, for a WhatsApp chat, you have responses. Perfect example of an organization that uses it for like WhatsApp, a WhatsApp database. They use like a total bot assistance for WhatsApp is like World Health Organization, UNICEF, all these companies like the NCDCA of Nigeria. You send out messages to them and they have possible responses for you. And the more you respond, the more options they give out to you. It's like it's like a branch so of possible responses that might suit you, right? So that's what that is. And they have that for social media channels to Instagram and the likes of them, Instagram, Twitter, and that Facebook too. So chatbots can give you a helping hand in private messaging section, as well as posts and paid promotions. So I send out messages to, that's still what I was saying, send out messages to via a campaign. And the campaign is probably click here and send a message to this chatbot, and then I get the message, or to WhatsApp or to Messenger and the likes of that. And it is shown to have a great conversation rate because a lot of this content, when you create content that creates conversations, shows that people are actually relating to what it is that you're actually pushing out. So the advantages of like the benefits of conversational marketing are one, they are more natural and fun. So I'm not just posting out things and saying buy so thing here and get so thing, and you're just buying. You create a conversation and then you know more. You learn more about the product. Your customer learns more about your product, picks more interest, and wants to know what it is that you're actually doing for them. And then it's more fun, and you see their their perspective firsthand. Conversations offer deeper and qualitative insight. So it's still what I just said, you understand what it is that they actually want. They break it down for you. This is what I want. This is what I want. I don't want what it is. This is what this is. I want it to be in this color. I want it to be in that color and all that. So that's like one thing. Conversations build relationships. So once I converse with my potential client or my client, and I have a database, and next time they reach out to me and I relate with them, hi, Mr. Peter, good to have you here again, and all that. So they know that, yes, you know that they actually patronized you before and all that. Conversations humanize online buying experience. So they know that, yes, they're buying it from an actual company and somebody's actually behind this brand. I'm not just buying anything from anybody, and there's an assurance when you're actually talking to someone and someone that's actually behind that brand. So conversations convert better. So yes, it does. commands better because people understand what it is that you are doing when they have a conversation with you. So, and they understand what your brand does. So it commands better. And conversation shorten your sales cycle. So instead of going through, probably some people might go through the stress of going through ordering this, going through this, asking for this and all that. But then when you have conversations, you can actually ask and take their orders and push it out once and for all. And it shortens that cycle instead of going through different phases to get answered for the necessary products. I want to buy a product, but there's no way I can contact this company. I have to go through Google to search and look for this and look for that before I can actually be sure that they're actually legit. So it's actually stressful to a lot of people, and they don't want that. So now let's go to the last phase of this, which is how to create a conversational strategy. All right. So there are actually 10 steps, and let's go. So the first one is map customer journey. So before creating chatbots or designing meaningful conversation and content pieces, you need to know at which step of the customer journey this conversation will take place. So you have to consider a few things. So how will my customer consume this content? So you have to look at it from the perspective of, if I push out this content for this customer, what kind of conversation will it start? Will it encourage anything? Is it relevant to their story? What's the relevance to the story? So this has to do with your target audience based on what you are selling. So, for example, I'm trying to look at a proper example for this. So, for example, let's use a food brand, and you're selling something, probably you're selling a product, and you want to know, you have a target audience, right? And you have content to push out to sell your product to these customers. What is the relevance of the content you are pushing? Are you pushing out the content that has to be something that's not related to the brand? I'm not saying that you cannot do anything that's sometimes not a bit away from the brand because of maybe trying to make fun content and all that. But then, in most cases, your primary goal should be relating content that's relevant to your audience's story. So now the third one is, at which stage of the buyer's journey is the customer when they interact with your bot or another type of conversational content? So this depends. So at what stage is your customer going to actually need the use of going to actually need to talk to you or use your bot? Your bot might be actually effective, or it might not, depending on what it is you're doing, and yeah, and that determines this at the stage. So you have to map it out, map out the customer journey, try to understand these things from their perspective. So the fourth is, where will the successful completion of the conversation take them? So the completion of the conversation take them to probably maybe they're making their orders, right? And or patronizing your services and all that. So these are the things to consider before, some of the things to consider, not all actually, there are a lot of things to consider. So you can map out your customer journey depending on what it is that your brand does, right? So second one is identify the most effective channel. So after decision making on what stage of the customer journey you want to conversationalize, that's you want to actually make where you want to start a conversation for you to actually convince them to actually use the service. Think and choose what channel will feel most natural, comfortable for your potential customers. So like I said, it still depends on what your business is. What are you selling? What is it? Are you selling products? Are you selling services? Are you selling? It depends on what it is you offer. So from that you can determine where your potential customers will likely be the most. Are they likely to use Google channel to search you on search platforms like Google or Bing to look for you, or are they going to go to social media? Because at the end of the day, some people that actually believe in some platforms. So some don't believe some businesses on some platforms. Like, oh, The fact that these people are just on this platform means that they're actually not serious, right? And I don't think I want to patronize them or where like or how and all that. So it depends on what it is you're pushing out. So depending on what channel your business uses, it can determine a long-term conversation access. For example, webbots can be effective for capturing visitors in a research stage. So this is for like you are doing a research, and this is for people like what your business has to do with maybe services, and you're doing a research and you want to know what's the most effective channel that you're going to use, right? So you use webbots, which can be effective for capturing. This is just an example, right? So you can actually the other means. So it can be effective for capturing your visitors in a research stage, where you can actually pick out what it is they want via that research. Instant messaging apps, second one, will be most effective for buying processes. So that's for selling products, because I want to know what it is I'm buying. And that is why you come on Jumia, you open their website, the first thing that pops up is a live chat, or they are also on social media channels. You have phone calls that you can actually put a call through. So I want to know, sorry, instant messaging apps. I'm diverting into voice assistance and all that. And so you can send out a message and ask questions and you want to know. So these are just examples. There are so many of them that you can actually do, but I can't actually break down everything in 1 hour because it's going to be actually a lot. It's going to be a lot. So the third one is create user stories. So a user story is a brief, straightforward description of a product, service, or feature as perceived and told from the perspective of the prospective client who desires and needs it. So this helps you shape the focus as you will learn to discuss them in the language of your prospects. So you map out your user story, which is still part of the customer journey, right? And you have to look for it from you have to study different kind of people, which is still like a lot of work. I can't actually go into that. So I can be as Boluwatife, I want to buy. I want to buy this dress because of a reason, or I want to buy this device because of this your reason / pain point. It depends on what it is. So you map out different kind of people, different kind of needs, depending on what it is you're pushing out, and you can draw a list of different kind of people, different age, depending on age groups, can be age groups, different age groups, location, demographic, and select and create user story and write them out. Possible questions and possible user stories of what it is that they actually want. And then you have to provide what it is that they need, right? So you have to map this out step by step. It's actually a lot of work, but you know that you want to do, you know what you want to push out. So as a lead a customer, I need a product services so that I can. So this is another example. So this is as a lead customer, I want this because of this. As a lead customer, I need this so that I can. So different patterns of people speaking in of your customer. It can be as Mark, as John, as Sarah, as whoever, like a lot of people, and you look at it from the perspective of what type of people. Now this is a lot actually, but I can't actually go into detail for creating user stories because you have to actually study different type of people for this kind of responses. So it's actually a lot, which will require a team to do this actually. So role play the conversation. So this is in this process you get to map out the questions and the possible answers before considering going digital. So the goal is to make a structured map of the conversation. This helps in adjusting the language used and phrasing to sound natural within a given context and be true to the user's story. So I map out all my possible questions of what it is I want, and I write them out. I role play. You yourself, it's your brand, so you ask questions, then you role play the possible responses that you're going to give. So this is like the primary stage. This is not the main stage. It's like primary stage of what you're going to do, right? So you have to give out questions, and then we'll go get to the other one. So they identify different parts of the conversation. So now this is where it gets more complex. So even as though you have answered possible responses, then you have to give out possible other possible questions to the responses that you gave. Maybe it's not satisfactory to your potential customer. So you give out a response, right? And they're not really convinced with the response that you've given them. So they want more answers. And then that's where you now need to branch out your basic answer. So you can actually draw it on the table, draw it on the board before going digital. You draw it on the board, your possible answers, map it out so that you can know that this is the possible responses. What if the person does this? Or what if the person says this? Or what if the person is so angry that he says this, I'm not going to use, or I'm going to say this about your brand? And this goes to say, I'm going to give a perfect example of this. And this also has to do with you and your team. If you have a team of, even if they're not part of your marketing, even if they're not part of your marketing team, it's very important. It's very, very important for virtually everybody that is related to the sales, because a company can have a sales team, but can be different from the marketing team. Definitely different, in most cases, different from marketing team. So it's very important for the story to be cut across for everyone to know what is going on with a business. And sometimes as whoever is managing your digital platforms is supposed to give you possible responses to answers, sometimes if they don't even know what the answer is. I'm going to give a perfect example of that, where I actually made a mistake. So I was handling a page for a brand, and I got a message from a potential client saying that they wanted to order certain snacks for so amount, a carton and all that. And I told them the current price, which was just updated on the website like a week ago. Okay, for example, as at then it was like a week ago. So it was like a week, they made the change like a week ago. And then this client actually visited the website that week ago, which the price was actually lower. Now she was complaining of why the sudden price hike. And I said the price hike was effective, was just put in place, and there's nothing that we can actually do about it. That if she had ordered before the price went up, that would have been done. That would have been should have ordered with the last price. Then that conversation went. That's how that conversation went at first. Then the same client came back almost 4 hours later and said that why have I not gotten my my order yet? I sent out yesterday. You guys said we're going to deliver it and all that. Now, the first thing I was supposed to do at that stage, at which I made a very big mistake, was I was supposed to contact the client and say, okay, somebody ordered something and they haven't received it. What's happening? But then I made a mistake of, okay, this is the weekend and probably everybody's resting and I don't want to stop anybody, which was a big mistake. If I had dropped a message to my client, even if I didn't respond to that person and I said, okay, I'm waiting for you to respond to me before I give out this information to the client, that thing would have happened. So I actually ended up telling her that, don't worry, your items will be delivered, please, and all that. The client went on to say, you people are dishonest. People are asking me to pay extra some amount for some products. And that wasn't basically that was where that's where I came. That was where it was my fault, because I should have asked questions before responding to her. So at the end of the day, clients reached out to me and said, please, are you the one who reached out to these clients on so platform? screenshotting the conversation. And I said that was the one. And it did mess up a lot of things. And at the end of the day, the client actually went to a platform and said she was going to say that we are not honest. And this is not a matter of honesty. This is a matter of miscommunication. Miscommunication from the person handling the page to the client. And the fault of the person at that point was me. I should have never had just answered the questions on my own without contacting the client. So it's very important that the whole team, even this conversation we're talking about, there has to be communication in the team before a seamless conversation can take place with your potential client. So at some stages, keep the conversation short and straightforward, and straightforward is the way to go. However, other situations may require the customer to dig deep and let the user take more inquisitive part. And that sometimes the questions can be so much that you are lost and you don't know what to answer. Then you have to give a chance to the client. And if you are also the client, your client, you also advise your whoever that's handling your digital channels should know that they have to contact you when they do not have total responses to their needs. So some bots can be complex, which makes them harder to design, control, and manage. A simpler conversation flow with a clear focus can be more efficient. So this is still to see this self-explanatory. So making a simpler responses to clients will make them know that yes, okay, I can get my possible responses and not have to ask questions over and over again. Yeah, so that's that. So we need to identify triggers. So after understanding the main conversation flow and possibly its branches, then identify triggers for each question and answer. Analyzing the triggers will also help you identify which kind of bots you need. So what triggers a question and answer depends on the keyword, phrase, image, or button. The answer depends on several factors. So like use the case and stage in the customer journey. So you have a case study for or your different types of customer and stage in the customer journey where you want to understand what it is that you want. So you what triggers them? What is going to trigger? What is either going to trigger a bounce rate, or what's going to trigger them contacting you? These are things. This is actually a big part of the strategy as well. It's actually very dicey and actually it's a lot actually. It's bulky. So you have. If you're going to go into this, I can't go into this now. I have time's already up. So you have the freedom you want. You also have freedom you want your customers to have within the dialogue. That can trigger that. So sometimes you might want to minimize the freedom they have in the dialogue because if it's too much, there might be issues and the responses might be moving in a circle. So I'm asking questions and I'm going back to the same. My bots are giving the same answer or probably telling you the questions you have entered, that the questions you have asked are not they are not valid or something. So it's actually turns off a lot of customers. So flexibility of interface. So a lot of interfaces depend on the UI, how it's designed for people to patronize you. Some people will actually patronize a brand just because their interface is beautiful. Like, this people's interface is nice. Let me contact them and all that. So not even knowing what it is, that not even really knowing the quality of their products or the quality of their services. But all these things actually matter. And then your customers too, you have to understand, you have to actually learn. Like I said earlier, you have to identify, map out their user story and understand them. So the next is identify key integrations. So a successful conversational marketing strategy relies on the access to database with customer personal data, communication or purchase history, and other necessary information. So this is still what I said earlier when we're talking about picking up their database when you're having a conversation with having these platforms that you can actually get their database via live chats, live bots, and the likes of them. With their purchase as well. Somebody purchases something from you and you store that information and you can actually reach out to them again and say, hi, this is a person. Thank you for buying seasonal product from us. I would like to hear your review about it and all that. So it's actually very important. Hence, if you're serious about driving sales in conversational marketing, you need a way to store and organize this data to provide the context necessary. There's a lot of platforms you can store these data on, and you can make use of them. So make sure you are aware of all the integrations you need in order to create frictionless and functional interactions. Only when you are aware of your needs, then you choose your platform provider. So you have their needs, you know, the possible questions and the answers, then okay, you now decide what platforms best suits your business. So choose a platform. So choosing a conversational marketing platform that can answer the clear vision of your needs. So technical difficulty, code or no code, learning curve. So that's based for chatbots. So are you going to use a code or no code chatbot? Because the one that has the code is the one that's more complex, and most times it's the machine learning, the one that has the machine learning ability and all that learns what they're saying and all that. So it depends on what you can afford. You can also use this. Channel integrations available. Does this platform offer the channel you need? So what you need and what other channels are available should you consider expanding your consumer marketing strategy in the future? So your primary channel that you're choosing, can it handle the need of your business? And on the long run, would you look at other channels that would actually be favorable to your business? So third-party integrations. What integration options does this platform offer in terms of relevance to your business, as well as varieties? Is there an API option if your tool is not on the list and all that? So you know there are tools that can be on these platforms, like third-party tools that you can use to get information that you need on these platforms. Are you using that for your brand? Would you consider using that for your brand? So you choose these platforms. Pricing and scalability. Is the pricing affordable? Is it flexible? And is it scalable as you grow? You grow emotional interactions. This is a long-term commitment required. So you have to determine. Okay, I'm going to start off with answering people. Am I going to be ready to use chatbots on the long run, or as my business grows? Obviously, if your business grows, your income should grow as well, or your revenue should actually grow as well. But then sometimes, it can also affect the profit of the business. And sometimes you have to, these kind of things you have to consider. And support and onboarding. So what type of support is available? Is it phone, live chat, knowledge-based, video tutorials, in-person onboarding, etc., and the likes of that? There are a lot of kind of support that you can use for your business and the likes of that. So it's very important that you take note of all these things. So the last one, second to last one. So build your rule-based or AI-based conversational assistant, test and release. So you create now you're using a rule-based or an AI-based conversational assistant. So, and the rule-based is the one that has the simple responses, and probably before directing you to probably a human to answer to your AI-based, the one that can actually handle a lot of questions and answers. So if you have a chosen no-code platform, it will take all it will take is to design dialogues and ensure integrations are collecting and retrieving data as intended. So you don't really need like a developer in this aspect. You can actually just create this possible questions and possible answers, and you get your responses. Now you can have a new bot in a matter of days or weeks. However, if you decide to go the more traditional way and code from scratch, the developer will need more time. So, which is the AI-based conversational assistant. So you need to take a lot of time to code and understand the possible questions and all possible responses, which is from that branch of possible responses in earlier when we're speaking in the strategy. So now introduce it to your target audience to take note of your new development via email or social media pages. So this is just part of the promotion aspect. You promote it, let them know that yes, you have a new channel that actually speaks on this, And okay, so what would you like to what would you like to know? What would you like to know better about our business? You can actually get it via all this platform or via our rule-based or AI-based assistant, bot assistant, and all that. So that's that. And then the last is track, analyze, and improve. So constantly observe the conversations and analyze the patterns you're both using in conversing with your potential clients. So this is you studying the shortcomings of a machine can never be perfect, like you say. So you studying the possible responses that your bot gives and probably where it lags or where the problem is. Study stages when people may fall off. Probably when the conversation is not going the way your client wants, they fall off. So you have to take that into consideration and work on that. That means you have to go back to the back end and work on giving better responses. Conversion comparison, the why. Why you have to look at why it's why it's converting in a positive way or why it's not converting in a why it's not converting and all that. So you look at it and say, okay, this is what is turning them off. This is what is bringing them to me and all that. So you study that. Now study the bot if it fulfills the goal. So what is your goal? My goal is to sell my product. If I'm selling a product, I'm to sell shoes. Is it actually encouraging my clients to actually buy these things, or am they actually falling off? So you have to, these are things you have to study. So it's not just a thing that, okay, a lot of people might actually just create this button, relax and say, okay, I have a button, so I have no problems. I'm just gonna check at the end of the month and see what it is. So there are plenty of chatbots, key performance indicators you can set for yourself based on your desired outcomes. So that's what we're just saying. So what are desired outcomes for your chatbots? What do you want this chatbot to do for your brand? What is it going to be? Is it going to be a conversation starter for you? Is it just going to give them an info? What is it? So you have to determine that. And is it actually doing it for you? So you have to go back, track, analyze, always come back to it and work on it. So checking up on bot performance will help you identify areas that still need work and continually improve the quality of your conversations. And with that, we come to the end of today's session. Please, if you have any questions, you can actually drop them in the chat box or unmute yourself and ask questions. Thank you very much. Please, if you have any questions, you can ask.
Hello. Can I ask my question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so concerning the a company trying to identify the appropriate channel to talk to their customers, how much assumption can go into that? I know that you talked about research and using a user story or user persona, but in the event that the company doesn't have the time maybe to research or doesn't have the resources to get that kind of information, how can they is it still possible for them to kind of, I guess, assume based on what they know so far?
Okay, that's actually a smart question, and that's what I was saying earlier. We couldn't go into that, but then it's very important for every brand to actually do that research, make that research and see from different perspectives. They can outsource it if possible, and look for possible cheaper channels or cheaper companies or agencies that can actually help them do all this. And this is actually very important, because at the end of the day, if you don't do this and you just do it on a level of on a surface level, it gets to the point where at the end of the day it becomes a mess. So what's the point of actually starting up? What's the point of starting up a user story when creating a conversational strategy when you know that you're not going to implement all the parts? So I think that's one of the most important parts of this whole strategy of conversational strategy, conversational strategy for marketing, right? So it's very important for you to create user stories, whatever the cost, because it's going to determine, it's going to actually affect the performance of your bots the performance of your strategy you're putting out. So I don't think there's a way to manipulate it unless you can look for a cheaper means to actually get it done. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, that does. Thank you.
In the absence of no question, we'll bring this session to an end. Thank you very much, Peter, for that wonderful presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all for joining this session. The video will be available on our YouTube channel. And if you are watching it on the channel and if you have questions to ask, you can drop it there. We will answer you. So do have a lovely day. Bye, everyone.
All right. Thank you very much.